You are now listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Nerdy Podcast.
Welcome to Ride With Me, episode 27. Today I have no guest. Well, no, I'll have a guest later on today, but I didn't feel like, I told my wife I don't feel like recording an episode at 8 o'clock in the morning and then sitting in my garage till like 1 in the afternoon to edit and post and all that good stuff. So I just decided to, since I can't sleep, it's 4 in the morning and I can't sleep, so I figured I'd jump in the garage and record an episode real quick, probably like a recap of this past weekend since I didn't post an episode. We ended up going to Big Bear. I wasn't going to go to Big Bear, but Officer Ricky decided to strap a bag of a kilo of cocaine in my car and said, "Hey, I called the boys in blue, so you better start driving." So yeah, I ended up going to Big Bear. The reason why I wasn't going to go to Big Bear was because some of you guys know that I'm outspoken, and sometimes I say some stuff and I don't mean it to come out hurtful, but some people take it hurtful. And I made a comment where I hurt someone's feelings, and I was like, man, if I can't be myself, then why should I go? I don't want to go. And like I said, Officer Ricky kind of gave me the guilt trip and strapped a kilo of cocaine in my car, and I took off. Other than that, but it was a good weekend. We got up there about 4 o'clock because that's when it was. That's when they hand you over the keys to get into the room, to the house. Beautiful house, really big house. Four bedrooms, an office, a really huge living room. The yard was freaking huge, man. Like if there was snow, there was no need to go looking for slopes. It's right there. You can do it right there. It had a jacuzzi in the backyard. It was just amazing. Freaking bedroom downstairs in the dungeon. We took one of those rooms. That wasn't bad. Kids had a good time. We went and did a little fishing on Saturday morning. We didn't catch anything. On a nice little bike ride with Officer Ricky. And then hiking in the afternoon. And then come home back to the house and just games and poker and 21 and everything. Anything and everything. So it was a cool weekend. Yes, I would have regretted not going. My kids, the moment I said yes, I'm going, the boys' faces lit up. So I'm glad I did. I know it made everyone happy. The wife was happy too. I know that the person whose feelings I hurt was happy as well, but it is what it is. Again, like I said before, I'm a pleaser and I'll do whatever my kids and wife want me to do. As long as it doesn't involve me getting hurt. No, I'm playing. Just mumbling, guys. Like I said, this is the second time I do a podcast by myself. So I'm just rambling, mumbling, and going along with it. Like I said, I do have someone coming over later on. But again, I don't feel like having... I'm at the point where I have plenty of episodes out there. I'm not in a hurry anymore. Last week, I didn't record anything. So... Before I used to be in a panic and be like, okay, who's coming? Who can I get out here? What can we talk about? Now it's just like, it's cool. I have plenty of episodes out there, 1,800 downloads, and multiple people want to come on and already ask me, hey, what can I be on? Hey, what can I be on? So it's like, it's cool. I like the I'm gonna say, I guess, success that this podcast has accomplished. I guess it's pretty cool. Every time we always go to family gatherings and it's like, hey, we heard you on the radio, we heard you in Valentine in the morning, you blah 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 blah, and now it's like, dude, podcast, we didn't know that happened to you. That's crazy. I do, some of these events that have happened are true. They're not made up. And then recently, I think the last time I vented about the he said she said episode. Ever since then, the mother of my kids and I have been trying to co-parent as best as possible. And I think it's been like a weight off my shoulders where we're not fighting, we're not, biting each other's heads off. Now it's like, hey, how's JoJo's grades doing? I'm like, well, he's struggling a little bit because of distance learning. I don't think he's catching it very well on a computer than it was in person. And so she'll ask me, what do you think? Should I, cut electronics? I'm like, well, let me give you his grades before we find out his grades on Saturday. So when I find out his grades, then I'll let you know, hey, he wasn't, he didn't do so well. So she now understands that when she would give the kids what they wanted because it was on her time and it was fun time, it only kind of bit her in the butt. And so now she gets it, and it's been, like I said, it's been peaceful. It's been like a weight off my shoulders, and I think I'm less grumpy since. It's just like I told Officer Ricky yesterday. Actually, I'm like, I just wanted peace. I just want peace and quiet, and I can't get that when other people just like are under my skin. And it's like like I said, man, go back to it. So it's just a weight off my shoulders, and everything's been peaceful. And I was clowning around with her yesterday, and hey, man, let's see how much longer we can get along, and then we can, maybe show my listeners that yes, things do get better with time, and have you on the podcast. And she's like, yeah, why not? And I'm like messing around. We're gonna title that one "The Bitch Is Back," and she actually liked the title. I had a couple buddies of mine that say, I don't know, man. I don't think you should do it. I'm like, well, not anytime soon, man. You guys just don't understand how much weight is off my shoulders right now just to be able to get along with the mother of my kids. Because my wife always told me, it's like, hey, dude, you have to deal with her for the rest of your life. I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. Screw that. Forget that. She's like, yeah, you do. You're telling me that when the boys graduate high school, she's not gonna be there. I'm like, no, they can have 2 graduations, and then you're telling me when the boys graduate college or university, she's not gonna be there. No, they can have 2 celebrations, and that was always my response. And then, what happens when they get married? Well, they can have 2 weddings. I don't care, and that was my mentality. But like I said, now, like I told her, we have to technically be in each other's lives until one of us dies. And because these kids are not, I always said at 2027, I have to stop dealing with her. I don't have to deal with her. It's just enough of her. But is that truly the case? 2027, that's when JoJo turns 18. Is that truly the case? Will I end up, don't have to deal with her anymore? No, because my wife reminded me there's college, weddings, and if they have kids and stuff like that, you're always going to have to deal with her. And as much as I hated hearing her say that, she's right. She's right. I do have to deal with the fact that she's going to be there forever, and kind of like in a way, she's technically kind of like family in a way, but I just never really accepted that. She put me through a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. And then even after the fact that I left and wasn't with her anymore, she still made my life hell when it came to the kids. So it's been a really bad, like I said, really bad 10 years. But lately, like I said, everything's been chill. She's been cool. I mean, I don't think my daughter likes the fact that we talk because we're both in the same page. Like, hey, dude, if Layla has a bad grade in this class, you shouldn't be rewarding her. You shouldn't be paying, 40, 60, 50, whatever, for her to get her nails done. It's like, no, you got to nip that in the butt. And she's like, no, I noticed that me being her friend only bit me in the ass. I'm like, hello. I've been trying to tell you that for a long time, but I was always the asshole. I was always the bad guy. And no, she caught on. She gets it. And now it's like, I think I think my daughter's not very happy with both of us right now or mainly me, because she tells her, now you sound like my dad. It's like, yeah, this is what your parents should sound like. And I get it. She didn't have her for 5 years, so she just, tried to give her everything she needed, everything she wanted. And like I said, she accepted it. She said it bit me in the ass, and now I have to fix it. I'm like, well, right now your goal number 1 is to help her graduate high school, because when I gave her to you, she had decent sized grades and she was in track. Over there, she's had, and she had perfect attendance with me. Over there, she kind of dropped the ball. And it kind of like, it sucks because when we have family gatherings, well, not as much as we used to, but when we have family gatherings, my in-laws, my sister-in-laws, and like, well, what do we ask her? Because I made it crystal clear, do not ask her about school, because my biggest pet peeve is when somebody lies about anything. So and I've heard her say in the past, hey, how's school? And, oh yeah, I'm doing good. And I'm looking at her like, liar, stop lying. So I don't like it when she lies. So to me, it's like, don't ask her about school if I know that her answer is only going to be a lie. And I don't think she lied. I don't think she made it seem like it was uncomfortable when it came down to visit, because that her my wife's family treated her differently, and I had to explain to the mother of my kids, no, they just have a hard time having a conversation with her because they don't know what to ask, because I don't know, because I know what her answer is going to be. So because everyone here is like, the boys, how's school? And good. And Jojo, I'm engaged, and it sounds really good. And then hey, how your school grades going? And like, oh, they're good. And I'm like, whatever. So there's a lot of explaining that I had to give to the mother of my kids so she can understand why Layla felt certain ways or whatever the case would be. But like I said, back to the whole, everything feels back to the whole co-parenting thing. If like, again, it feels good to have that weight off my shoulders and know that I can go drop off and pick up and drop off the boys on her visits without dirty looks or without any kind of comments being made. Or the biggest one I hated was when I would drop them off and they'd be laughing in the background like, the hell, do I have a clown face on, or what's going on? What's so funny? And that would just, my whole drive home, I'd just be really pissed off because what the fuck were they laughing at? So like I said, that's kind of stopped for a little bit, and I told her yesterday, I hope this lasts longer than just right now. But at the moment, I'm enjoying it. I mean, she's even asked if she can come over for Thanksgiving, and I talked to the wife about it. She goes, well, she kind of made my life hell as well. It's kind of too soon for me. I'm like, no, I get it. I know, I completely understand where you're coming from. I'm not going to force you to have the mother of my kids here on Thanksgiving. I get it. I understand. But she's willing to, like she said, as long as the boys want it, I'll do whatever the boys say. And even the boys are kind of like iffy about it. They're like, nah, I don't know, Dad. That's kind of weird. I'm like, hey, man, like I said, whatever keeps the peace, man. And no, yeah, she asked, and I think she even tried to reach out to my wife, and just to try, like I said, just to squash things with her. Like they said, they don't. Like I told my wife and like the mother of my kids said, I told the mother of my kids, you guys don't have to be friends, but we can make these exchanges a whole less stressful, a whole less uncomfortable. And yeah, no, my wife agreed. I mean, well, the mother of my kids agreed. She goes, I understand. I made her life hell, so I'll wait for her to be ready to say something, or whenever she's ready to say hi or whatever. Like, like she said yesterday or the other day, it's like, I don't mind. Did I even see the date? Today's November 7th, 2020. I keep saying yesterday. You guys don't even know what yesterday was. Yes, today is 4:40 in the morning, November 7th, 2020. So yesterday was Friday. And she said, yeah, no, I'll give her her space or whatever time she needs, but it would be nice to, exchange when we exchange kids, and there's a Starbucks. We always meet at the Starbucks in Valencia on the old road right behind the Magic Mountain. She was, it'd be nice to just buy everyone, coffee, and hey, here you go, coffee, and without, like I said, without any hostile. And that's what it used to be. It used to be very hostile exchanges. So I'm glad that they haven't been in the past 2 months. And yeah, that's an update on that. Everything's been cool, it's peaceful. Now, for those of you that they have grandparents, they love their grandmas very much, and grandpas, I'm sure. My grandma had surgery this past the weekend that I was in Big Bear. Now, she lives in El Paso, and she's been very stubborn I've asked her to come live with us. My brother has asked her to come live with us, and other family members have asked her to come live with us because she lives in El Paso with the oldest of us. So, but I'm not trying to bash the guy, but I don't think he does a very good job taking care of her. Back in February, we went to Oxnard to visit, and my cousin Diana was like, "Hey, how's your grandma doing?" I'm like, "Fine," but it's just the way she asked. Like I kind of caught on to that. I'm like, "She's doing fine." She goes, "How's her head?" I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean, how's her head?" Yeah, she so and so, we'll call him Beto, posted a picture on Facebook and of a puddle of blood on the ground and said that she fell and hit her head and she cracked her head open and she's doing fine. She's in the hospital, blah blah blah. I'm like, "Are you joking?" Yeah, apparently I learned that day that you can block certain people from seeing your posts on Facebook. This is why I fucking hate Facebook sometimes. You can block certain people, specifically certain people, so that they don't see your feed, your story. All right, so another cousin of mine hit me up and asked me the same question. "Hey, how's your grandma doing?" I'm like, again, I didn't know that this happened, and so I hit up my brother and I'm like, "Hey, dude, what happened, dude? What's going on?" And he's like, "No, he beat around the bush," and I just told him, "Look, going forward, I would like to be notified that she's okay or that something happened to her before I hear it from other people in a different city. I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to have found out like this." And he was on the defense mode and kind of made some comments and it was like I haven't spoken to him since this is back in February, so I don't really have spoken to the guy. But in that time, I always check up on my grandmother. I'm not gonna say I call her on a regular basis, but sometimes I can go a month without calling her. I got friends that are like, "Hey man, you don't even call, dude. I don't even call my grandma, bro. Relax." And which I should more often now that she's a lot older. And I've been calling up on her, and no, just my hips hurt, and I think it's the arthritis and getting old, and it takes me like an hour just to walk to the bathroom, and it's like, damn, that's pretty bad. And that's when we're like, I talked to my other brother, Danny. He's like, "Dude, get her out here, man. We got to get her out here." And she was really pissed off. She doesn't really like anybody talking about her. She's very, I don't know what do you say. What's the word? She's just really to herself that way. And she doesn't like anybody. Like, to her, me asking him to talk to her, to bring her over here, was being chismosos. And that was her word. "You guys are being chismosos. We're trying to take care of you." But it is what it is. So I'm going to say about 2 weeks ago, I get a voicemail from Beto to let me know, "Hey, just letting you know that when grandma fell back in February, she actually had a fractured hip." I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me? That's why she's been in pain this entire time?" She had a fractured hip and needed surgery. I'm like, well, I mean, I can't get mad at the guy. He actually freaking reached out to me and told me something. So I was like, okay, cool. Thanks for the heads up. I'll call her in a little bit, check up on her. She ended up getting, I think her surgery was the same weekend, last Saturday while I was in Big Bear. And I talked to her that Friday, actually. And oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm so, like the week before. She had surgery last Saturday, or like 2 Saturdays ago. And then I talked to her on Friday, the weekend that we were up in Big Bear. And she was like, she just loves the fact that she's no longer in pain. She just hates the fact that somebody has to clean up after her. She was like not happy. She was like, somebody's going to come and wipe me in a little bit. Or they had, oh, sorry, I didn't answer the phone call earlier, mijo. They were, had a nurse in here and she was, cleaning me and so embarrassed. And I'm like, Grandma, it is what it is. You gotta get somebody to take care of you until you start walking. Because until the physical therapy, they're going to make sure that she can move her legs and stuff again properly and everything. So they put her in a home in a like I said, treatment, like a physical treatment kind of home. She'll be there for a little bit. She probably won't come home for Thanksgiving, so she's bummed out about that. I remember when we went to go visit her the weekend that my grandpa passed away. We went to go visit her, and my wife is, obviously she grew up with family that they're always there for each other, always helping each other out. And she tries helping my grandma do the laundry because my grandma's kicking the laundry with her feet, and like she's dragging it, pushing it towards the washing machine. And then she picks it up, like she's trying to pick it up, and it's a remind, like it reminds me of that movie, Scary Movie, where the guy's like, "This is my strong arm," a little tiny hand. That's what I saw, and as my grandma's trying to pick up the laundry, and my grandma bit her head off, like, "Oh, I got this, I got this." Like my wife's like, "Ooh, oops," like, no, don't get offended. She's been biting my head off the entire time I've been here, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm like, shit, grandma, I can't do nothing right here. No wonder these guys freaking want to put you in a home already. But yeah, no, she's a fighter. She refuses to. She says she refuses to die. She's not gonna die anytime soon. She wants to keep going, and I just hated the fact that she was in this much pain. But she's doing good. Again, she's doing good. I'll probably call up after I post this episode and check up on her, see how she's doing. But yeah, no, she hates it. She hates that somebody has to wipe her butt before her. So she's like, that's never happened before. Back in the day when she had to get like this, she had to be in a wheelchair a few years back. Oh, she refused. She said, no, I'm not going to sit in no stinking wheelchair. Whatever you have to do to my legs, do to my legs, because I'm not sitting in a wheelchair. So she had to wear like this boot type thing on her leg, on her foot for like maybe like 6 months. But she did it, and she didn't have to sit in a wheelchair. Now she hates it because she has to sit in a wheelchair. My grandma, you're not 50, 60 anymore. You're not 70 anymore. You need you need help with these. You need help with the chair. But I mean, we'll still talk to her and see if she wants to come down. We are going to have a spare bedroom once the master bedroom's almost. Well, actually, the master bedroom's almost done. So we'll have a spare bedroom for anybody who we're going to use it as a guest bedroom. So anybody that comes from out of town and wants to record a podcast and wants to stay for the weekend and barbecue and whatever, then I style you have somewhere to sleep. And yeah, but so far, again, guys, thank you for listening to my my little venting sessions when it's just me. Again, like I said before, the purpose of this podcast is to, for you guys to listen, that, for you guys to understand or listen or to take a piece of this, that life does get better. And like I said, I don't know how much longer the mother and my kids are going to get along, but lately it's been good. A lot of it was kind of like the kids adding fuel to the fire, making things seem worse than what they really were when it wasn't even like that. So she kind of catches on now, and I think she went to go visit her family in Oxnard and told them, hey, whatever the kids say, you guys kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. You guys got to kind of take it with a grain of salt, because you can't always believe 100% of what they're saying. Because I believe one day my daughter said something, and the sister, not even the mother of my kids, but the sister ended up calling CPS, and the CPS came to the house, and they're like, what happened? They're questioning. We're like, we had no idea what the hell's going on. So yeah, to avoid CPS phone calls, Child Protective Services, you guys need to take everything with a grain of salt. Sometimes these kids feel like they need to tell me what I want to hear, and they want to tell her what they feel she needs to hear or wants to hear, and that's not the way. The kids shouldn't have to feel like they have to lie to us to tell us what we think we want to hear. And sometimes when they're like, the boys are like, I don't want to go see her for Thanksgiving, and that's the one thing right now, they don't want to go for Thanksgiving. That's why she kind of hinted coming over here, because the kids don't want to go with her for Thanksgiving. So it's like, what the hell, man? I don't know, man. I don't know. So again, like I said, repeat myself. I'm being here by myself, so I'm not having a conversation with anybody else. So like I said, life does get better. It does take time. Nothing. You don't close your eyes, open your eyes, and then boom, life is better. No, it doesn't work that way. It takes time and patience, and I know I haven't had a lot of patience lately, but I just, the mother of my kids is the one person that I should be getting along with, because AKA she is the mother of my kids. And, because the kids see this, they see the frustrations, they see the anger. They don't want to see that. They shouldn't have to see that. So, and then she has other kids that, like I was told one day from a friend. I've known this guy since I was 15 years old. He had an amazing, and I'm gonna have his son here one day, because he had an amazing relationship with the mother, with his ex, with the mother of his oldest, and his ex would literally watch his newer kids. Like, hey, we're gonna go out of town. Yeah, I'll watch the little ones for you. Oh shit! Like, I'm looking at this and like thinking, holy shit. And I'll probably repeat this when I have this guy on. And he told me one day, the best advice he can give me was back to the purpose of why he gave me the advice was because I said, damn it, this broad is still having kids. She needs to stop popping kids, man. I feel like I got to deal with them now. And that's when he told me, well, whatever kids she has, technically they are your problem. Any other kid going forward is technically your problem, because you may not be their father, but you're going to tell me that if your kids someday, let's say you're taking your kids to Disneyland and your kids ask you, hey, can my brother and sister come too? Are you going to be the asshole to tell your kids no? I thought about it for a second. I'm like, fuck, you're right. You're right. I'm not going to be the asshole to tell my kids no. Every Christmas, I take those kids Christmas gifts. On a birthday, I'll give them a birthday, whether the mom liked it or not. We give them gifts. Because, again, that was the advice that was given to me. And if I'm here sitting on my podcast giving you advice, then I should damn well listen to the advice that was given to me, no? No, lately it's just the only advice I need to take lately is watching what I say so I don't hurt people's feelings. It just comes out naturally. Anyways, guys, let's go back to thank you for listening to this episode. Thank you for letting me vent, and would love to have any of you guys reach out. I always put my email. I used to put the Instagram link on the description of this episode, but I was starting to get I don't know if they were really listeners or they were just spam. So what I did was I now changed it to my email address. If you guys want to reach out on my email address, say hi, make an appearance. I mean, I'm cool. We'll have conversations about anything. Doesn't matter. You want to make an appearance? You want to talk about some bullshit? We gotta get to know each other first, because I don't just bring anybody here. And yeah, let me know. I mean, I would like to hear where people are listening from. I do see the updates on my phone on the app, and it shows me people from Canada and Brazil and Australia, and I'm like, wow. I mean, it was just supposed to be for my friends on Facebook and family, but I appreciate you guys listening. Again, 1,800 downloads. Quick shout outs, I guess. I can throw some shout outs out there to the people that I know for a fact to listen on a regular basis. I mean, I'll post this episode, and by midday I'll have 10 downloads. So I know my boy Juan. I need you on here, bro. Come on, Juanito. Get on here. My cousin Selena listens. I got Evan. What's up, Evan? Chris, Adam. Love you guys. Sorry we couldn't hang out this weekend. We can probably hang out some other weekend. And if I missed you, shoot me an email. My bad, bro. But anyways, again, thank you guys for listening. And I will be recording another episode later on today, but I'll probably post that one next week. It's Saturday. I don't want to sit in this garage till 1 o'clock. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to my podcast. And thank you for writing me. Thank you for writing with me. Later.
Thank you for listening to Ride With Me. Thank you for listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Indie Podcast. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.